Most people will never master themselves, not because it's hard, but because they're focused on the wrong enemy. There is a specific moment that separates the people who build something real from the people who spend their entire lives almost doing it. It is not a skill gap, not a resource gap, not a timing gap. It is a single internal shift in how a person relates to difficulty, uncertainty, and the distance between where they are and where they're trying to go. I have studied this long enough to say with complete confidence that the most significant difference between people who consistently win and people who consistently stall is not talent, work ethic, or opportunity. It is one thing: the way they interpret what happens to them. Not what happens, how they interpret it. Most people move through life running an unconscious interpretive framework they never chose, never examined, and never questioned. And that framework determines everything: the decisions they make, the risks they take, the speed at which they recover, the ceiling they silently accept. The people who win are not stronger. They are not less afraid. They are not operating with more certainty than everyone else. They are just running a different internal program. And that program is learnable, buildable, transferable. What I'm going to show you is exactly what that program looks like and why almost nobody talks about it at the level it actually operates. The shift. 1. They do not have a relationship with outcomes. They have a relationship with the process. Most people are outcome attached. Their emotional state, self-perception, and sense of forward momentum are all tied directly to whether the result they are chasing is currently moving toward them or away from them. When results arrive, they feel capable. When results stall, they feel like something is wrong with them. This creates a specific problem because results are never fully within anyone's control. Markets shift, timing misfires, external circumstances interrupt, and a person whose internal stability is built entirely on outcome proximity will destabilize every single time something outside their control moves in the wrong direction. The people who consistently win have detached from this entirely, not from caring about outcomes, but from tying their psychological state to them. They build their identity around the quality of the process they are running, not around whether the result has arrived yet. This means their confidence does not fluctuate with circumstances. It is anchored to something they can fully control. And from that stable internal position, they continue working through the exact conditions that cause outcome-attached people to either freeze or quit. Stay with this, because Shift 3 is going to show you the specific way this internal stability gets built, and it is not what most people assume it is. 2. They have already accepted the worst version of the outcome. This is the shift most people misunderstand entirely when they encounter it. It is not pessimism. It is not low expectation. It is not the absence of ambition. It is the complete internal acceptance that the worst case is survivable, that failure is not fatal, that losing the thing does not end the person. Most people carry their goals with a specific kind of invisible tension, a background terror of what it would mean if it did not work. That terror does not show up as fear most of the time. It shows up as hesitation, overthinking, a pattern of getting close and then finding reasons to slow down right before the point of full commitment. The people who win have removed that tension entirely, not by becoming certain of success, but by genuinely making peace with failure, by sitting with the worst version until it no longer carries enough weight to alter their behavior. Once the worst case is accepted, the fear of it loses its ability to shape decisions, and without that fear shaping decisions, a person moves through the world with a clarity and directness that most people experience only in small moments and then lose. 3. They treat stagnation as information rather than verdict. This is the internal shift that most directly determines the speed at which someone recovers from setbacks and the height of the ceiling they eventually reach. When something stops working, when progress plateaus, when a strategy fails, when a result does not arrive on schedule, there are two ways the mind can process that experience. The first is as a verdict, evidence that the goal is wrong, that the person is not capable, that the timing has passed. This interpretation feels like clarity, but it is actually the brain using available evidence to justify the exit it was already building toward. The second is as information, data about a specific approach, a specific condition, a specific variable that needs to change. The stagnation says something about the method, not about the person running it. The people who win have trained themselves, sometimes consciously, sometimes through accumulated experience, to default to the second interpretation. Not out of blind optimism, but out of a genuine understanding that stagnation is a normal, expected, structurally inevitable part of any meaningful pursuit, and that the only question it asks is whether you are going to examine it honestly or use it as a reason to stop. Do not skip the next part. It contains the shift that operates most quietly and causes the most damage, because it does not feel like a mindset problem at all. It feels like a rational observation about reality. 4. They have stopped waiting for conditions to be right. There is a mental pattern that almost every stalled person carries without recognizing it as a pattern. It presents itself as prudence, preparation, responsible timing, the sense that the right moment is close, just slightly beyond the current set of circumstances that still need to align before the real effort can begin. The conditions never fully align. That is not cynicism. That is the structure of how meaningful pursuits work. The variables that need to be in place before beginning are always slightly out of reach, not because the goal is wrong, but because the brain generates those conditions as a buffer between intention and the discomfort of genuine commitment. The people who win start before they are ready, not recklessly, but with the understanding that readiness is built through action, not before it. That clarity arrives during the process, not in advance of it. That the conditions they are waiting for will not be created by waiting. They do not feel more confident than you when they begin. They feel exactly the same level of uncertainty. They just do not use that uncertainty as a reason to postpone. 5. They measure themselves against who they were, not against what other people are. This is the quietest shift on this list, and the one with the most direct impact on long-term consistency. External comparison is a moving target built on incomplete information. You are seeing the output of someone else's process without any visibility into the timeline, the setbacks, the resources, or the internal cost of what you are comparing yourself against. More than that, external comparison measures you against a standard that has nothing to do with your specific path, your specific starting point, or your specific variables. It is a measurement that can only produce either false confidence or misplaced discouragement, because the reference point was never calibrated to your actual situation. The people who build something real over time shift this benchmark entirely. They measure progress against the previous version of themselves. That is the only comparison that uses accurate data, the only benchmark that reflects genuine movement, the only standard that compounds. Over months, that internal reference point becomes the foundation of a momentum that external comparison can never build, because it is always movable, always achievable, and always completely under the control of the person pursuing it. You just encountered 5 internal shifts that most people spend their entire lives one decision away from making. But here's what I need you to sit with. These shifts are not attitudes you adopt. They are not affirmations you repeat. They are not beliefs you decide to have. They are the natural output of a specific internal architecture, a way of relating to yourself, to difficulty, and to the gap between where you are and where you are going, that has to be built deliberately from the inside out. And the building is not complicated, but it is specific. The next video on the rational soul goes directly into that building. the specific internal practices that make these 5 shifts not occasional states you visit during good periods, but the permanent default position you operate from, regardless of what the external circumstances are doing. Most channels tell you to adopt a winning mindset. They never show you how the architecture behind it is actually constructed. The Rational Soul shows you the architecture. Subscribe to the Rational Soul. Turn on every notification. Do not miss the next one. The version of you running these 5 shifts is not a distant future possibility. It is one deliberate decision closer than it was before you watched. Do not miss the next one. Subscribe to the Rational Soul now.